Impact drivers and impact wrenches are both types of impact tools that do a lot of great work, but they have different designs and they're for somewhat different purposes. We've got our team together here at ProToolReviews.com to show you the difference between them. You can make a quick call on which impact tool to use by looking at the drive style. Now, generally speaking, impact drivers are screw driving specialists. They accept 1/4-inch hex shank driver bits, so when you're driving screws like Phillips head or square or Torx, that's the tool to use. You can even drill holes with them if you use compatible bits. Impact wrenches, on the other hand, have a square drive on the front. Sockets and some other accessories fit onto that, and it's what you're going to want to use with hex head fasteners like nuts and bolts and even timber screws. Let's dive a bit deeper into these collets and drives for a minute. So impact drivers all have that 1/4-inch hex collet no matter what size, performance level, or voltage that you got. Most common impact wrenches are going to have a 1/4-inch, 3/8-inch, or 1/2-inch square drives, and that measures the distance across from side to side, not front to back like some people might think. Now those drives are going to come in two different main styles, and that's going to be either with a friction ring or with a pin detent. Now our team prefers the friction ring because it's easier on and off, but there are a lot of pros that like that pin detent for the extra security. There are bigger impact wrenches in that same realm, and they use 3/4-inch or even 1-inch square drives. Now those are really industrial level tools for when you need really high torque. There's also a special kind of impact wrench that we use for utility work. It has a collet similar to an impact driver, but it's 7/16 of an inch instead of 1/4-inch, and we use a different set of accessories with it. But it has the power of an impact wrench, so it's a lot stronger than your standard impact driver. There are some exceptions to what we just laid out though. You can get socket adapters or nut driver bits to work with your impact driver and use them on hex head fasteners. You can also get adapters that let you use 1/4-inch driver bits with your impact wrench. But just because you can adapt them doesn't mean you should adapt them. Too much power and you could be shearing off fastener heads. Too little power and you could burn up your motor, or it might just not get the job done. When it comes to power sources, you can still find a corded impact driver if you really want one, but the vast majority that you find on construction sites around the country are cordless. Impact wrenches come in both corded and cordless versions, but that classic sound that you hear from the racetrack or the automotive shop, that's from a pneumatic air impact wrench. Now, tradesmen are typically using the cordless models on construction sites and utility work, those kinds of things, but mechanics still heavily rely on air tools. However, we are seeing a trend where more and more cordless is making it into the automotive shop. Pneumatic impact wrenches can be less expensive, and they also tend to work a little faster, but you need a compressor and a hose to work them, so make sure that that's in your cost calculation if you don't have those already. When it comes to power, you typically get more out of an impact wrench than you do an impact driver. They also display that power differently. Impact drivers use inch pounds when it comes to displaying their torque, and impact wrenches use foot pounds. But just like it is with linear inches and feet, just multiply or divide by 12 to get the right measurement. If you've got inch pounds, divide by 12 and you get foot pounds. If you have foot pounds, multiply by 12 to get inch pounds for comparison. Now on the impact driver, you can find models that exceed 2,000 inch-pounds of torque, and we find that anything that's got at least 1,600 inch-pounds is great for professional use. On the other hand, impact wrenches start around 100 foot-pounds and it can easily exceed 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. And when we're working on vehicles, we'll usually use a compact impact wrench with at least 200 foot-pounds of torque for most basic work, but then we'll switch over to a mid-torque that's got at least 400 foot-pounds for doing lug nuts. One thing to keep in mind is that most manufacturers are going to market their nut-busting torque or breakaway force. That's how much it can actually loosen. For example, we have an impact wrench that can do 650 foot-pounds of breakaway torque, but only 450 fastening. Speed is a different story than torque for our cordless models. Most impact drivers are going to max out around 3,600 RPM, and that's faster than the cordless impact wrenches, which can be under 2,000 RPM. Now that trend completely flips around when you're talking about air, where a good mid-torque impact wrench can be over 8,000 RPM. On the smaller side, some impact drivers and impact wrenches are built on the same exact foundation with just different drives on the front. Now, other than those, most of the time, your impact driver is going to be much lighter and more compact than your impact wrenches. Pneumatics, on the other hand, they're going to be lighter than your cordless models. With impact wrenches, the size and weight generally increases along with the power level. 1/4-inch models are just going to be the smallest, while you're going to go up to 1/2 inch on the mid-torque, and then when you get those extreme ones, 3/4 inch and 1 inch power levels, they're going to be really big, bulky tools. In a perfect world, we'd own every type of impact driver and impact wrench so we have the right tool for the right job no matter what we're doing. Now, if you're just getting started on construction projects or DIY projects around the house, go with an impact driver. You get more use out of the screw driving specialist. If pulling transmission on a car this weekend is more your speed, now you're looking for an impact wrench. Look for terms like compact, mid-torque, and high torque to give you an idea of the relative size and performance level of what you're looking for. And if you're not sure, we'd recommend you start with a half-inch mid-torque cordless model. If you can go with the cordless side, it's a lot more convenient than using pneumatic. Plus, you can get other tools that work on the same battery. We hope you found our video helpful. If you have any questions or feedback for us, please feel free to leave those in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching. Help us out by subscribing to our channel below. If you enjoyed what you saw, hit that like button and turn on notifications to stay up to date on our latest videos.